Sea Duck Again is brought to you by Hackensack Brewing Company and their Imperial Pilsner Auga, which was created in honor of the legendary DJs The Awesome Two. Thick Crates, pure hip-hop satisfaction. Check out their limited edition new releases available now on Instagram. Weaponized Records, an independent music label serving up underground hip-hop. The revolution will not be televised. It will be weaponized. And the Spitslam Record Label Group. The Spitslam Record Label Group, a Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spitslam Record Label Group. Throwback to the future sound.
It's C-Doc again.
"200 episodes in, 200 episodes straight. We haven't missed a night. I missed a couple, but the crew has been here to hold it down. We're not wasting any time tonight. We got to get into episode 200 right away, ladies and gentlemen. Coming from the West Coast, LA, Jennifer O'Jenny. Yeah, JOJ.
What's happening?
You know what's happening. It's crazy. We can't even contain this show. It's ready to go. So,
I know.
Also joining us tonight, Ultramag 7. Oh, wait, we got to do
too
that.
close,
there we
man.
go.
You're
too close. You're too close, man. And of course, back from vacation.
Mm-hmm.
He's been away for a minute, but of course he's back tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Flatline.
Couldn't miss this one.
You got the shirt and everything.
Yep.
And of course, what would it be? It wouldn't be episode 200 without our main man, the exec producer of the show, ladies and gentlemen, Chuck D.
Like Batman. Like Batman.
And why waste time? Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest this evening, the Iceberg himself, Ice motherfucking T.
What's happening, man? What's good?
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, sir.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure, man. You know what I'm saying? I got so many calls. People like, yo, you got to go on this show. I'm like, what show? And they tell me, and I was like, okay, I'll pull up. And then everybody kept calling, and here I am. You know, there's certain names you can say, and people just show up. So Chuck is one of mine. You know, if you say his name, I'm going to pull up in the middle of the night, in the dark, in the parking lot with the pistol, you know?
Right. Yes, indeed.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, man. We already had like a little show before the show, and then all of a sudden, our commander-in-chief, C-Doc, said, oh, we didn't start the show yet. I was off to talking, telling stories, you know, the stuff behind the scene, and now here is the show. Now I'm all silent and quiet. Hey, listen, Berg is the first one that started the podcast thing.
Word on the street. Yeah, kind of. I really, honestly, I didn't really start it. Combat Jack was out.
Mm-hmm.
But I was the first rapper to actually try to do it. And me and my man Mick Benzo did we did the Final Level podcast. I did 55 episodes. And then I realized there was nobody else I wanted to talk to, so I stopped.
I tried to get there. Apologies. I was as Berg was transitioning east, I was west. It was just one of those scheduled things, but then the process happened where you could kind of like do it from anywhere. And then by that time, Berg had just planted the seed, and so many trees and podcasts started around the world. I call him Berg because Ice-T is the dude, you know, like when people got designated titles, the man has no title. It's like, you know, they got the president, the commander in chief, all that. He's the dude that's just iced tea, and that's it. I'm honored that when I'll call him. I don't call him ice. I call him Berg because there's nothing cooler or bigger than the iceberg. If you're the Titanic, you're going down, running into the iceberg. You know what I'm saying? So you got to steer clear of those waters. If you come wrong or whatever, you got to respect the bird.
The way the story goes, Chuck, the truth of the fact is, before I was Ice-T, I was Crazy Trey because my first name is Tracy, which gets you into fights because the minute you tell a dude your name is Tracy, they say that's a bitch name. So now I got to punch you in the face. I just met you. So a lot of people like Trey D from the East Siders, his name is Tracy. Most guys that name Tracy usually shorten it to Trey. Right. And then when I was in high school, the players were carrying books around by Iceberg Slims and Donald Goins. And I started reading those books, and I was able to quote Iceberg Slims to girls in high school. I was like 17. I'm talking like a 45-year-old pimp, but I never told them that it was Iceberg Slim. I thought it was me. They thought I was that fly. So people used to say some more of that ice stuff, T. And that's where Ice-T, that's the origin of the Ice-T. It's short for Iceberg T. So close friends like Chuck call me Berg. All my boys call me Berg. And one of the honors I had was meeting Iceberg Slim. Fab Five Freddy hooked it up before he passed. And I told him, I said, you know, I named myself after you. And he said, well, who better, baby? So I got blessed by the man, so that I'm official, you know.
Anointed.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
He anointed me. So that was a blessing, man.
You know, in hip hop, we always look at Berg as the barometer. Well, I do. I look at Berg, and he knows this because I call him on it. He calls me on my birthday. He gives me advice. He and Flavor got seniority over me in years. And therefore, I tell people all the time, the celebration of hip hop in its new, as it goes through another revolution, Berg be breaking those records. You've been breaking those records for 30 years. Mm-hmm. So when I hear people start talking about, rapping at the age of 40, Berg was the first to do it. Mm-hmm. Rapping at the age of 50 significantly. Berg is the first to do it. I know because I'm looking at him like, okay, Berg is doing it, so I ain't got to break the ice, no pun intended, no big pun intended. You always seem to be able to pioneer into a new area that people don't even recognize to 10 years later.
You know, one of my favorite quotes is a quote you said about me, and I've said it before. You said, Ice will do something that totally jeopardizes his entire career and existence to stay awake. You know? So I'm that kind of person. As soon as everything's going good, I'm like, we did that, move. Let's do something else. Like, once I peek it out, I'm like, okay, that's been done. Can we do? I just like doing new shit, and a lot of it doesn't hit, but that's what I get off on. Like, you know, you can always argue who is the best, but it's hard to argue who is the first.
Right.
So if you know, getting out there, you know, Soulja Boy claimed he the first to everything, but I mean to be be out there and spearhead this shit is where I find my excitement in life. It's like, you know, like when I did, let me just give you an example. When I did the song I'm Your Pusher, that was like one of the first rap songs with a singing hook. And it hit. And for me, it was like, okay, that's too easy. That's cheating. So I stopped doing it. Now, anybody else would say that's a method to keep going, you know, but I just said, nah, can't. That's kind of cheating. We're supposed to be rapping here. You know, and so there's lots of things I've done to hamper my growth.
But there's also other things, man. Like there's a rap book library now. Ice does the first book, The Ice Opinion, 1991. the OG as everyday vernacular comes out of Ice-T.
Yeah.
You know, original gangster. I mean, the Ice Opinion, OG. What is it? You know, like when you know, like for example, when people are misconstrued on the facts and stuff like that, and then people get in that discovery zone for the first time. Has there been any areas like in different echelons, like major media or somebody that didn't even know, and when they find out, they're like, "Oh shit, damn, all right, damn, I didn't know that."
Well, you got to remember, Chuck. Some people, the first rapper to them was see what that. This is what goes on. Like I study this shit. The best rapper to you is the best rapper that was rapping when you were in high school. Like whatever that time period was, that's who the. So a lot of people, like we saw Pac start at Digital Underground and we saw him grow. But to some people, when Pac was hot, that's when they hit hip hop. Some people was Eminem is when they hit hip hop. So that's a big thing because that moment when you really get hip hop is really when you pick your favorites. So now a lot of the kids, you know, maybe Lil Uzi was the hot thing when they got it. And that's just it. That's just how it goes. I know for me, when I was making my first album, you guys had already dropped Rebel Without a Pause, and Eric B. and Rakim was out. And Eric B. for president. Eric B. as president was the first hit hip hop record I'd ever heard outside of Rapper's Delight. And when I mean hit, I was in Harlem. It was coming out of every car that was going by. I came in the door. I came in the door. And then check out my melody. It was. I mean, I've never heard a song that really hit like that. And then I was in. I don't know if I was in Latin Quarter. And Rebel Without a Pause came on, and it was the most violent rap record I'd ever heard. It was just that sound and everything like that. And, you know, certain songs in New York would create a crowd atmosphere. Like when Mobb Deep comes on and they say, for all the killers and the $100 billers, tuck your jewelry right then. You know, like they're getting ready to get busy. It creates an energy. So I heard you guys, but I had to go in the studio and not make you guys. That's my thing. I'm from a school where see what everybody else is doing. Don't do that. Right. Don't do that. That's theirs. So, you know, that's the part of hip hop we were from. You know, it's like everyone has to be original. And I remember I had the gold gun on, and you guys had the African pendant on. Uh-huh. And they used to ask me, they said, well, you out here with Public Enemy? And I said, well, Chuck is a global expert. I'm a neighborhood expert, right? I said, his stuff is global. And I said, I can't wear an African pendant if I can't point out the different countries on that continent. Right. What the hell am I wearing it for? If I can't tell you where this is, I feel foolish. I'm not educated enough to really, even though I did wear one on the Power cover because Africa Islam produced me, so the Zulu Nation represented me. But I wore the gun.
Big up to Islam.
Yeah, shout out to Islam. But
big up to Mick Benzo, who's tuned in too.
Respect. But I could tell you anything about this gun. That's what I could tell you about, right? So that was my expertise.
Let me tell you this much, Ice. First time I meet Ice-T in person, because I had already heard from Glenn Friedman, who mutually shot both of our initial covers, Iceberg for Sire. And I'm going to ask you about Seymour Stein, because I know you got, I mean, everybody else got questions. And Glenn Friedman for Def Jam with us. He said, yeah, when you run into him, we're getting ready to play the old LA Sports Arena over there by the Coliseum where the Clippers played, you know, where the Lakers first played. And it was dilapidated by then. And we're coming in with the tour bus, sure enough, looking exactly like the Ron Pays cover. Ice pulls up, you know, and pulls up with Evil and Islam. right?
In the
And
Porsche.
Darlene wasn't in, but it was the same shot without Darlene, and it was like, it was surreal because I was like, this looks just like an album cover. The backdrop, the palm tree, you at the wheel, Islam and Evil, and I was like, wow. I was just impressed with that, and you gave us the rules. Yeah, kind of don't wear this color. Watch your hats. You know, this ain't like this. This area is over here. Like that. It was like Ice gave us like kind of like the gameplay all in 10 minutes.
It was
And then
necessary.
sped off. He said, I might come back later, but he jetted off in the same the same car. And I was like, well, that was a surreal moment.
LA is a place you need ground rules. You know, like it's not a normal city and it can become very dangerous, you know. So it's kind of like, you know, you need somebody to let you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is a different kind of place. There's gangs here and they're really active and they might not. We always say the bullet will hit you before the rep hits them. We just shot Chuck D. Shit, we didn't know. Shit, motherfucker had on that.
Right.
You know, so you won't get a chance to explain yourself. You know, if you hit the wrong corner. So, but dig this. Speaking of Glenn Friedman, I heard Public Enemy #1 from Glenn. I think before it even came out on a cassette. You know.
It was going around.
You say your mom fixes old dryers and and I'm like, I don't even know if you was Public Enemy yet. I don't know.
Yeah, we were Public Enemy, but the tape was going around and all that, and I was getting feedback from Glenn on what you were doing. We as DJs, we played you as a recording artist on Cold Wind Madness on the Blue Label with Jam and Lewis. Mm-hmm. And we went in also with our Dre, Andre Brown, later on Yo MTV Raps, our guy. We went in on your records, and we went in on a lot of LA records because we liked the tempo and we were DJs. Mm-hmm. So whenever we played the club, playing like, playing all the West Coast, fast rhythm, computer, what we call it, like Cybertron, all that stuff, man. We couldn't wait to play that because it made our floors move from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
Right.
So all the Wrecking Crew and all that stuff, what they call it, Dream Team and all that stuff, man. So your music also, we went on that in like 82, 83. And then later on, we went on some other songs. And the first record we ever heard where the tempo came down a little bit was King T.
Right. And me and King T were on the same label, Techno Hop. That was Unknown DJ's thing. And to see the thing, LA hip hop was based on a techno sound, which was really based off Planet Rock, Egyptian Lover, Bobby Jimmy, LA, Uncle Jam's Army track. And I wanted to rap like New York. I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to be a New York affiliated and stamped rapper. So I wanted to go low tempo. I wanted to change the tempo up. But if you look at, there's two Ice-T's now. If you look at early Ice-T, I got on spikes. I got on all kinds of leathers. I'm trying to look like Melly Mel. I'm trying to because I thought you had to do that to be in hip hop. So I'm trying to look like New York. And guess who created the Ice-T everybody knows? Russell Simmons, believe it or not. You don't even know this story, Chuck. So I was at a party in LA. I might have K-Day party or whatever, Casa Camina Royale. I'm in there. And on a regular night, I got on a Fila sweatsuit. I got the perm, the K-Swiss, the hat, blah. And somebody was on stage and they called me on stage to rap. Russell was there and I rapped. And when I came off the stage, he said, that's how you supposed to look, Ice-T. He says, fuck, you are not a New York rapper. You can't be Melly Mel. That's you. Put LA in the game. Do you. And I because there was no real LA rappers to me, I'm like, I'm trying to get into hip hop. He's like, no, you got to put LA on the map. And they ain't never seen no niggas like you. And at that day, I cave up the belt buckles and all that stuff that the New York rappers was wearing. And that's why when Glenn shot the album cover, I was in the Porsche, we had the girl, the palm tree was intentionally there because he said this cover has to say LA.
Wow.
And from then on, I just been myself. And it was kind of another thing was I was involved in street shit and I didn't think you could talk about it and be an entertainer. Like I'm trying to not be that Ice-T street nigga.
Right.
Other Ice-T, and I'm rapping like LL about parties and stuff like that. But when I heard Schoolie D sing about PSK, the Parkside Killers, that was like a green light. Like, oh, this nigga's really talking about real shit. Watch this. So next thing you know, here comes 6 in the morning, and it was a rap from there. And I was like, I could get paid just telling the truth. Like I could tell that I could say the real shit. And that was a moment of like the sky just opened up and I'm like, oh, they like this shit. I could do this shit forever. You know?
Right.
You know, I don't know how long I could have rapped trying to rap like a New York rapper, but you got to remember your blueprint was all there was. There was no other blueprint. There was no South. There was no nothing. It was just New York. So of course I want to get in.
Tell us about Seymour Stein, man, because he's what they call a man with wax in his veins. He was a legend in record companies. He started Sire Records, and then Sire Records in the middle of hip hop has the vision to pick up Ice-T as the pioneer from the West.
It was a mistake, Chuck. It was a mistake. I was a fluke. So anyway, I'm rapping in LA. I meet Africa Islam. All the New York rappers was like, why the fuck you want to rap? I already had the Porsche, the jewelry, the girls, the cars. But I knew those days were numbered in low digits. My business I was involved in had a low shelf life. Let's say that. And I go to New York with Islam. They were like fascinated with me because you got to remember, that first year you guys came out, nobody had really bought a car rapping yet. Like there was no money yet. It hadn't hit. Everybody was struggling, and I already had the car. So they're like, "Why do you want to rap?" Like, so I go to New York with Islam. Islam connects me with Melly Mel, Grandmaster Caz, Donald D, and I'm in the studio with Melly Mel. Like Melly Mel was my idol because when I heard him, when the message and all that shit, it just everybody took me to another level. Like Mel told me, oh, you could put a message into this. It's not just about partying. You said you could put politics. You could talk about things other than yourself. So all these little elements came to me. I'm like, oh, you could do that. You could do that. You could do that. I'm in the studio with Mel and Grandmaster Caz. Like, I'm like, yo. And then they treated me so good because they was fascinated that I was from LA. So a guy named Ralph Cooper Jr., whose father had something to do with the Apollo, brought us to Seymour Stein as a compilation. It was Mel, Caz, Bob, a guy named Bronstyle Bob, Donald D, and myself. Mel was tied up with Sugar Hill. Caz was tied up with Tough City. Donald was tied up with Vintertainment. Bob had never made a record, and I had made records. And Seymour Stein says, I'll take Ice-T. His ignorance of not knowing that you can't rap if you're from LA got me that record deal. He didn't know. So when they gave me $40,000 to make the album, I took $10,000 of that and bought that chain with the gun on it. I took another $10,000 and blew it. And me and Iz took the other $20,000. We bought an SB12. We bought some drum machines and we bought studio time. I mixed that whole album in Secret Sound in New York on a non-automated board in one night. With,
Wow.
With 5 motherfuckers hitting the
each on the levels. Yeah.
Everybody muting and then you had to cut the tape. It was a 2-inch tape. So we made the album. So let me tell you, when I go to sign with Seymour Stein, this is the wild shit. So he listened to the demos and he tells me I sound like Bob Dylan.
Oh shit.
And I said, I knew who Bob Dylan was. I know about Subterranean Homesick Views. I said, okay, I get that. Then he said, have you ever heard Calypso music? I said, yeah, I don't know it. He says, they're singing about the problems in Trinidad. He says, but just because, this is the most genius shit he said, Chuck, just because you don't understand it doesn't make it invalid. It just means you don't understand it. In the same sense, I might not understand everything you're singing about, but it doesn't make it invalid. It just means I don't know what you're singing about.
Wow.
I believe there's people out there that'll get it. So we turned the album in. Oh, also he's dancing around in his socks. Now, Seymour, I don't know his sexuality, but he looks at me and he goes, "You have the most beautiful eyes." And I was like, yo, is this it? This the part where, I know there's some secrets in this shit. Is this it? And so I look at Islam, and Islam is like, chill, he's about to sign a check. Just chill. So anyway, I turned the album in. So I get a call from Seymour Stein. I had a line.
And you know what? You know what's crazy? Sid Nathan, who Seymour Stein was an intern with.
Right.
Sid Nathan, the guy that signed James Brown, used to always work in the Cincinnati offices of King Records in his socks and dance around in his socks and worked in his socks. So I just want to interject with that. Sid Nathan, with Seymour Stein came up out of that. So when you said he was just in his socks dancing,
tell the truth.
It was almost the scene.
Look, Chuck, my boy Al P told me, he said, Ice, you never gotta lie because people won't even, you've lived such an outrageous life, motherfuckers won't believe the truth. So don't gotta add nothing to this shit. So wow. Seymour, I turned the record in. I had a lyric that said, guys grab a girl, girls grab a guy. If a guy wants a guy, please take it outside. So Seymour says, Ice, that lyric, what do you mean? I said, Seymour, I'm not gay bashing. If singers can say they gay, can I say I'm straight? He's like, So then I go, he said, it's aggression, it's violent. I said, does your daughter like it? Now, Seymour, I don't know if we're gay. I never seen nothing happen, but
right.
Like, he got a daughter. So now I'm like, how do you have a daughter? I don't know. So anyway, I asked his daughter, I said, do your daughter like it? She said she loves it. And I said to him, Chuck, I said, you know that tension you feel, Seymour? Maybe that's money.
Wow.
And he said, I'll talk to you later. I clicked, hung up the phone. And it was money. The album, they spent $40,000. We sold 800,000 records, no video out the gate. And from that day, I've always stayed in the black at the record labels. I've always, even at the time when I was selling $500,000, shipping $500,000, they was giving me 3s and 4s and 500,000s. I never have spent more than $100,000 making a record.
Right.
I don't care because I would never pay for the beats. People like, I'll pay you. Like motherfuckers would come to me, yeah, well, my beat is the bomb. I'm like, well, it ain't a bomb till it goes off, nigga. So why don't you give it to me and we'll split the revenue? If it blows up, we win together. But I'm not paying you up front from some shit that you determined is the bomb. So I never paid up front big budgets. I would always cut deals with the producers where we split revenue, so that way I was able to cut. And later on, I had my own recording studio, so I had no real overhead.
You do the first home video where you shoot a video for every song.
Yeah, that was an idea. I wanted, but here, check this out, Chuck, how they fucked me. I did that with the little budget they gave me, and they didn't give me much budget. I think I had 20 grand. I put that together, and I wanted to drop the video before the album. That was gonna be some new shit. Like put the video out before the album so we could sell the videos, then hit them with the album. Warner Brothers, we're not into selling videos. We don't sell videos. So I had a chance to, but that's why the original Gangsta.
But you had the Iceberg files before that as a home video, because we released a home video in '89 instead of an album during Fight the Power. Right. So we had no album. We between albums. I said, listen, I went there. I said, yeah, but you know what? We got to Fight the Power. And I went to the Sony home video department and made that happen without Def Jam. Sony didn't know what we was doing. And that shit went bananas. Then I knew that I looked across, and over by Sire and Warner, you guys also had the Iceberg files. I got 3 video copies of that. And that was just...
That was called Steal This Video. That was the name of that video was supposed to be called Steal This Video.
Right.
And they were like, we can't put steal. You don't know how many things I've tried to do that they say we can't do. But I was like, they had the guy with the shit in his coat like that. And it was supposed to be like Steal This Video. And because I knew even if they stole it, that we had to get paid for it. So I didn't give a fuck. So
But so many people bought that video and got into the world of Ice-T and Evil and Islam. And I mean, it was like, it was your own TV network.
I shot it behind the scenes at the Dope Jam tour. And I shot it with video cameras and shit. And I edited it myself in my house. But see the thing, Chuck, that wasn't an album. So the original Gangster was the album. Like right. Beyonce did it. And that was the first. No.
Nah, that was the first one, the OG, yeah.
But, when people say something, when things happen that I don't get credit for, I always say those who say don't know and those who know don't say. The motherfuckers that know. And I don't need, if you don't know, then maybe you shouldn't know. Fuck you, this. I don't care. I don't care. But I wanted to put that out. That also is another thing. OG was supposed to be a double album.
Wow.
I had 25, 26 songs on it. It was a long album, and we don't do double. It won't all fit on a CD, and everything. And these were all creative ideas I wanted to. Yeah, the OG. Then I also wanted to do an instrumental album.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Oh, well, that,
right.
We don't want to do that. So I'm like, I was always trying to do something different because I know DJs have the instrumentals, the freak with that. But, regardless, the record sold, and, I got them right here.
Yeah. Amazing.
For everything Madonna did at the label, you was on the other side doing it.
Yeah, I was trying to be creative. I mean, the thing to me, being an artist, the creativity doesn't stop with the music. It should continue to the video, should continue to the artwork. It's a big thing, That was what was fun to me. It's fun to be creative. It's fun to be groundbreaking, and it's fun to push limits. That's exciting to me. Everything else is kind of boring or it's been done. So, I mean, even now, I'm making new music now, but I got to come up with a creative way to drop it. I'm looking at a lot of AI shit. Got to be different, man. It's, so.
Speaking of different, tell us about tell everybody how the ICE opinion came out, because there's predictions in that book and there's quotes in that book that people need to be reading right in 2026.
Yeah. Well, this chick named Heidi Sigmund, she had done a story on me in a magazine in LA, and I dug how it came out. Basically, she wrote what I said, and I was like, she had a blind to get a book deal. I was like, well, I don't know how to write a book. I can't sit up and write a book. Like, she's like, nah, this is what you do. We'll sit up and we do in-depth interviews, and we do these long interviews with you, and then I piece it together, and then you edit it. Then you go back and edit it. And eventually I ended up writing more books because I found out that's how it's done. The title is The Ice Opinion, Who Gives a Fuck? Because I just believe it's all of your opinion. Everything is somebody's opinion. Very few things is total absolute facts. So, you know, I speak on education. I say, and that's my opinion on education. Who gives a fuck? Religion. And that's my, you know, and I think a lot of people should just, you know, start off conversation with, this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's really much. So I wrote that book, and I mean, you know, some of my opinions have changed too since then, you know, because we grow and we look at things differently, but that's where my head was at that time. And, you know, the book did well.
I would also say, I say this, you know, and I'm gonna throw in my couple, gonna have the floor open. I tell people all the time when they say, well, who's probably the greatest performer? One on crowd. And I always mention your name, Berg, because the only person I could compare you to is like Alice Cooper or some, you know, like the theater. Iceberg introduces the theater into rap performance. We've traveled together, and there'd be one of the tours, Iceberg would come out wheeled in with his whole face taped and gaffled up.
No, I come in like
Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter. They shotguns and everything, and you know.
They said, don't let him into your brain, and it's like 15,000 people on the edges of their seat. And when you finally do your performance, you're the first performer I ever saw that dealt with peaks and valleys and have the crowd in the palm of their hand.
Right.
And that's the first time, and you know, like they say, steel makes steel, iron makes iron, sharpens iron, and all that. We're watching each other, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, wow, he's able to carve out the lows of a concert and make it theatrical. And you're the first that I saw do that.
You know, when I watch people perform, like I look at Public Enemy, I'm like, there's no way I can keep that intensity up. You know, you guys got the tracks, you got the beats, you got all that stuff that keeps that shit going. It's like a fever pitch. So PE is what motivated me to do Body Count.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we would go out and you guys would have mosh pits going, I'm like, they moshing the rap. Like if I gave them something that was even more intense,
right?
I want a mosh pit. If ever you perform in front of a mosh pit, you want a fucking mosh pit.
Yeah.
You're like, I need a mosh pit. But
Not easy at all. And the fact that you can do it in six going on 7 decades of age, that is either you do the songs or the songs do you. It ain't no way out.
But Ice-T won't get a mosh pit. See, Ice-T is more smooth. You're supposed to be able to come to an Ice-T concert and not spill your Hennessy and keep your hand on your girl's ass and just listen to me talk my shit, you know, because it's player conversation, you know. So I'm trying to get you to hang on every word I say, you know. Right. So it's not like overly complicated, you know. I just wrote a rhyme. This record I just started. And the hook is from Mind Over Matter, where I says, it ain't really how much you say, it's what you say. I got no fucking time on the mic to play. It ain't really how much you say, it's what you say. So my thing is like you said, the theatrics of it, like I'm going to come out here and I'm going to talk to y'all. And when the beat comes on, I'm going to keep talking to y'all. And then you're going to hear what I'm saying. I'm not going to ask you to jump in the air. I'm not going to ask you to do none of that extracurricular shit. Just listen and walk away understanding what you just heard. Don't get caught up in the beat. Don't get caught up in the vibe. Listen to what I'm saying. And I got that from you when you said I don't rhyme for the sake of riddling. That's a Chuck. So all these little lyrics hit me and I'm like, no, I don't rhyme either, Chuck, for the sake of fucking riddling. I take too much time. I mean, you know, and so looking at Big Daddy Kane and looking at all these different people, the closest person I feel like my performance is closest to would be Rakim. Even though I'm not as lyrical as Rakim, I kind of move across the stage and you hear every word Rakim is saying and you understand it. And, you know, you don't have to be that super lyrical. There's people that like Twister, and there's people that love Too Short. So you just got to get a fan base that likes the way you fucking bring it, and that's the key. You know, find your audience and stick to them. Don't keep reaching for everybody else's audience.
Well, hell, you're shit. All I know is your memory is a motherfucker, because I don't see how you can remember word for word, line for line, bar for bar, and slip none of it on the floor. So that right there is an attribute.
I practice right before ever I perform live. I take all the instrumentals and I put them on a CD, and in the hotel room, you know, if the show's an hour, there will be an hour where they know I'm going through my lyrics. And I say the rhymes because I got to bring them to the front of my head. They're in there some fucking where, but so is Rent, so is Law and Order, so is Chanel, so is Coco. All this other bullshit is in there. So I got to move all that shit to the front of my brain because I'm about to do a show. Dude, I blacked out during colors. My big mistake when I rap, I'll flip verses. Like I'll say the first verse and then I'll go to the third. I'm a what the fuck? But I got a way of handling that. I expose myself in the art of rap where there's always a fucking person in the front row that knows every rhyme. Yep. And I turn them into my human teleprompter. So if I fuck up, I put the mic up to them and they'll give me back. There's always one. They know every fucking word and they're saying it. I'm just like, you got it. Okay, thank you. The new rappers, they don't say none of their shit. They just they do the hype.
They ad-lib their own track. They ad-libbing the vocal on their own track, and it works for them.
It works for them. So their audience might be mad if they rap live. They be like, nah, I want to sound the record, you know? I want to perform. I want to do it with them, you know? So, hey, different styles, you know? So I ain't mad at them. That if it works, it works. Who am I to say what shouldn't work? But I'm from the era where you had to have your TV track. You had to rap live vocals. You had to be able to stop the track and do a little freestyling and all that. And, you know, do something people weren't familiar with. Do some unusual shit. You know, I mean, we performed a lot. So had to have your shit together.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you break it down and think about it. Speaking of, you had probably the greatest documentary ever that began to break all this stuff down in the art of rap, would also begat a nonstop running tour. We got Mick Benzo on the other end, you know, giving me a call every year, like, "What's up, man?" I'm like, but art of rap, man. Tell us about that, man, because it's imitated, never ever duplicated, and gets into that same thing you was breaking down, the rhyme, to be able to, I mean, a lot of people will say whatever they think hip hop and rhyming and rapping is, but let me tell you, once you start breaking down that science, man, that shit's difficult.
Well, I was watching, I wanted to direct movies. I haven't directed a feature film yet, but you know, that's one of the things I thought. You know, one time I talked to Quentin Tarantino and I was telling him, you know, I love his movies and I would love to work with him. And he's like, where do you think I get my ideas from? I've been listening to your music. You writing movies. Just do it. So he's like, you don't need my help. Just do it. You know, I'm a white guy. You put this shit, you're saying this shit. So I was like, okay, that was inspirational for the man to give me that, you know, and so I wanted to write. So then I pay attention to shit. I listen. So I see this one thing on TV. They say, if you're going to start a business, start with the lowest hanging fruit. start something that you're so familiar with. So I said, I'm gonna do a movie. Then I seen another one that says most directors start with documentaries. I said, documentary, lowest hanging fruit. I said I could do one on crime, but those aren't really celebrities. I said, rap. You know, I know these guys, they're celebrities. Would they talk to me? I literally went in my phone and called everybody in my phone. Everybody in that movie, I was in my phone. Eminem, everybody. So I called them and I said, look, I'm gonna do a doc. I only want to ask you 10 questions. If I ask you 10 questions, now, you know, I asked KRS 10 questions. If I asked Q-Tip 10 questions, it took 30 minutes. I had KRS, it takes 20 hours. KRS. You know, so the end was just 10 questions. And I asked everybody the same questions so I could segue from piece to piece. I structured it like that. Like one of the questions was, hip hop is a masterpiece, but nobody painted the whole thing. What's your stroke on the masterpiece? What did you add to the painting? So I have all these kind of questions, and I got this group from London, and they came in and they helped me film it. It took 2 years. Here's the thing, Chuck. There's about 10 hours of that movie. So I had all kinds of shit. I had to cut people out. I had to put people in extra. I started with 20 people. At the end, I had like 60. Because once people heard I was doing the movie, everybody jumped on. And then they tell me, you got to cut it to 90 minutes for Sundance. That was the hardest thing I ever did because certain people, it was difficult, you know, because everyone that did it, you know, they signed that contract, the hood contract that says, how much am I getting paid? And said, on the strength, you know. And I never made a dime off the movie. I just wanted to make something because a documentary is meant to document something. And I knew if we waited, you know, at the end, you see how many people had died. And I was like, I got to do it now while a lot of these people are still here. And there's so many people I tried to get at, you know, we're not even going to mention one person that you got hot about. But I remember I tried to get at Busta Rhymes and Ludacris, and Bus was always busy. So Bus came to the premiere, and he was sitting there. And when the movie was over, he looked at me, he says, I'm buried in regret.
I remember that.
He said, this is something.
I remember that.
So I think the diss in that movie was not to be in it. It was
true.
It had everybody in it. Dre was in it. And it was just a phone call. And we got everybody. And that's a documentary. Now, it can't be done again because all the people in the movie aren't here.
Right.
So that was
it's an institution, man, and the tour itself, man, running ever since the documentary. It's a not, and you know, big up to Mick Benzo for being who is. I always say there's always 3 Mick Benzos. The one I won't discuss the other 2, but the one that handles.
You talking about Suge Day? We call him Suge Day. Suge Day. Now what happened? Mickey was an executive producer. See, when I want to get this movie done, I got to get to all these people. So Mick was getting busy. Mick got Mel. Mick got everybody online. Yeah. On the West Coast, Hen G, Evil's brother, got Be Real, got everybody lined up. So when I landed, so there was a lot of people making this happen. It wasn't just to be on the phone. So Mickey did that. So when the thing was over, I said, Mick, you're a promoter. Take this on the road. Let's do the Art of Rap tour. And you know, we've been out and we've done shows big and small, and he still is banging the Art of Rap. That's his content. I gave that to Mick, and that's his thing. That's his brand.
That's fantastic. Tell us, and a lot of let's go back just a little bit. I know I'm hogging up the floor.
No, it's all good. Real quick, I want to bring Donald D in because he's
exactly. I was going to go into the next thing.
What up,
Don? Discuss Rhyme Syndicate.
What's up?
Coming through. Rhyme Syndicate coming through. Salute, Don. Tell how did that happen? Because obviously you're introducing the first posse situation and that's before even the Juice Crew.
what happens is Islam brought Donald D in. Islam brought two cats, Bronx Style Bob and Donald D. So me and Donald D clicked right off top, like, you know, and I was a fan of Stick Up Kids and Girls and all his stuff, you know, B-boy. And also I have this reverence for New York rappers. I'm like, yo, he's the real rapper. He's from, you know, and so Syndicate, you know, everything I do is based on criminal shit. Because I understand the different business ethics that they use, how they handle shit. So I was reading up on Lucky Luciano and how he created the commission, which is the 5 families agreed to not go to war. We'll sit down before we go to war. Now, New York had a Zulu nation, which Donald is a part of, but Zulu wasn't going to work on the West Coast. LA is too. You agree, Donald? Zulu was not going to work. They needed another name to connect to the gang culture out there. So we came with the Syndicate, which is a group of groups with a common goal. That's what a syndicate is. So I just basically brought all the rappers in LA together and said, look, we all going in. I use the same philosophy as the Zulus. We're all going in the same direction. Why compete? Let's just all be together. And also in LA rap, you got different gang members in different groups. So we had to create another gang, a sub gang that allowed them to connect. Everlast was Rhyme Syndicate. You know, we got him a record deal. Lord Finesse got signed through Rhyme Syndicate. Divine Styler got signed through Rhyme Syndicate. Donald D got signed through Rhyme Syndicate. And when I say signed, they got record deals. I never had any part of their record deal. I never took a dime. I was just putting niggas on like that.
Hijacking the UK, right?
Hijacking the UK. Yes. One of the greatest groups who sounded like Public Enemy to me. When I heard them, I was like, yo, that's UKPE. And for whatever reason, you know, we still are down together, but it was an attempt to create a union. Now, because of the Rhyme Syndicate, there was never any West Coast beef, ever. The only beef that happened on the West Coast was NWA, and that was a family feud. No one could get involved in that because Easy and them all family.
Right.
But the West Coast consists of NWA and who they became, going off to Mac 10 and Cubes and all his offspring. Then you had Delicious Vinyl, which was Tone Loc and Young MC, and then you had Syndicate, and then that was it. So with any beef, a couple phone calls could squash it. The only one that kind of got mixed up was when Cube was beefing with Cypress Hill, because Muggs comes from Rhyme Syndicate. Muggs was part of Syndicate before he became Cypress. And we kind of let that one blow over too. Solo and them got into it. It was, you know, and me, myself, beef ain't nothing unless somebody's about to get killed. If somebody's about to get killed, then we got to take it seriously. But, you know, if you got to go punch somebody in the face, that ain't really beef. That's just punch. You know? And another thing is, real beef never dies. Because real beef is murder.
Yeah.
So, you know.
The mafia way.
Well, no, it's just what it is. You know, like somebody that killed your brother, Donald, you ain't never going to be able to be cool with him. It's just, that's how it goes. Yeah. So we avoided that in the West Coast. Nobody in LA was shooting each other. And that's harder to do than you think, considering the gang culture out here.
Right. And that's some of the story, a lot of the story that they miss telling the full story from the outside or the media point of view over the past 40 years. And I always thought that what you had put down was the way that somebody should have looked at it. But then I always thought that was the right way, because you listen to an Ice-T song and he's gonna lay it out. And at the end, he's gonna cap that story with, well, I really don't suggest you fuck with this.
No, you gotta die. Like all my records, I end up shot or killed or arrested or some shit, you know. And it was just more about me. Like even though I might have been early, showing love to everybody. You know, King T used to live in my building. The alcoholics used to sleep on his floor. You know, they real alcoholics. I mean, King T's only I know did a St. Ives commercial for beer, like. You know, and all of us out there, and Donald can attest to that, all the West Coast rappers really got along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody got along, and everybody rapped on everybody else's records.
Yeah.
So it was a, you know, once I opened up my studio called the Crack House, you know, I never charged anybody to use the studio. I would just jack niggas beats. Like if in my studio and I happen to come in and I need that, they would hand over the beat. And that's how I was getting albums done relatively free. I get you the producer, you get the publishing, but I need that. These niggas, I had cameras and they would see me pulling up and they would turn off the hot shit. I'm gonna need that. But you know, I've had everybody up in there. We all, you know, corrupt and LA, man. The rap scene always stayed very neutral, and when you think about it, you never heard about LA West Coast rap beat.
And let me just say one thing: we took LL to World on Wheels.
Oh, you were there?
You remember? I
they
told him no blue, no red, don't, and he showed up head to toe red, and they wanted to kill him.
Yeah, that's Schoolyard. No, those are Playboy Gangster Crips. I mean, you know what? You can warm niggas. I worked Scott LaRock. Scott LaRock and KRS-One came, and they was about to come up in some gang shit. I said, nah, that ain't smart. And they put on black and white, and it was no problem. They paid attention. LL had that attitude, you know, I'm the best, this, that, and the third. And LA was like, you know, you can't stand on a stage and I don't give a fuck. You can't go to Detroit and say, all you niggas is soft. I'm the they gonna move on you. They gonna move on you. You gotta bow down to whatever city you're in. We found out we was in shootouts in Missouri,
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Detroit.
I was in Kansas City, nigga shot himself. We got in the car. We get in the car with the guy after the show. He like, yeah, I'm gonna take y'all to the club, this, that, and the third. Johnny Sean's in the car. That the dude like pulls a 9 out. Like, yo, y'all niggas, you niggas from LA ain't the only ones with guns. Pow! Shot himself right in the motherfucker. I came out of the car like, yo, what the fuck is going on? So LL they tried to knock over the metal detector. Remember when he was coming out? But you know, L's a big guy. He could take it, and he got out of there. But it was no one. It was the Crabs.
He got out of there because we ran him out the back. But the thing is, Ice would show up at whatever high school we were at. Ice and Evil. Everything was.
Now look, I'm from LA, right? I got like diplomatic immunity. I'm not a gang member. So by not being a gang member, I don't got no real enemies out there. You dig? So I'm not afraid of LA at all, but I'm aware of how violent it can be. And even though I might have came to them schools, I didn't hang out. Like when the shit was over, I got my black ass on before it got turned up. You gotta know how to move around LA. I tell people I navigated LA. You know, Donald came out there and we made him fully aware, like, don't go into the hood late at night and get stuck some fucking where, because we not coming for you, nigga. You out of bounds. Like, where you at? 99th and what, nigga? Tell him, Don, when you got out there.
Yes, sir, man. I was in Long Beach when I first got there. They was like, yo, you walking on Long Beach Boulevard, stay in the house. Once I got to LA, I stayed, they want to take me to Watts and all of that. I'm like, nah. Let me stay in Hollywood. Stay where it's calm.
Tell them what happened to you and Mickey trying to get to the club.
Oh, man. Funny story.
Mick Enzo's on here. Tell the story.
Yeah, so Mick comes to LA, and there's a club going on, and he's at the Orchard Suites, and we on his balcony. He see everybody coming out. Yo, let's go down there. We can find some girls. I'm like, yo, I got to get home. My girl is home. Come on, D, let's walk. We walk into the club, Chuck.
Stop. Before that, I told Mickey, do not leave the hotel. Let me come get you guys. Mickey, go ahead.
Right, so we're walking to the club. Out of nowhere in the alley, two guys jump out. This is a jack move, cuz. Next thing you know, they snatching off my chain. They in Mick Benzo's pockets. So they robbing the stick-up kid, Mick Benzo. And I had told them, let's not go. So they snatched everything. So at first, the guys, I tried to give them my Zulu Nation medallion. They said, oh, you trying to be funny, man. I put a bullet in your head. So I was like, I gave them the chain. Then they ran through the Holiday Inn that was right there. We see the police. Yo, we just got robbed. The police just kept it moving. Me and Big went back to the hotel, and that was that. We called up Ice and everybody. We got Jack.
Laughing my ass off. I'm like, you niggas get shot? Then what the fuck did I tell you? I told you these niggas are outside. Are you kidding me? Because
2 in the morning.
When you have a club, there's always a group of cats that don't go in the club. They just to catch people walking to their car. You got to understand. This is what people don't understand. Crime is an occupation. People, if this is what you do it every day. It's like a job. You may be a normal person, might go shoplift or try a little something, this, that. No, criminals get up every day and they commit crime all day. This is a job to them. So you guys walked into their business and you had to give it up.
You got caught out there. Yeah.
Hey, they'll take your gun. You know, a jacker is going to, and Mickey didn't know what the word jack meant because he's from LA, New York. They call him mugged out there. And he's like, Jack, who's Jack? And they say, yo, this is Jack. To tell though, it was, but you learn, you're going to learn the hard way, man. Like,
Hey, it's Berg's ice radar that always detects different situations. And I've been telling this story recently, and motherfuckers seem to like not even believe it. I said, yeah, through the radar auspices of Ice-T and what we was able to bring to the table, they stopped the war for one day. Mm-hmm. And the former Yugoslavian republic that was going on war, we performed in Zagreb, and Pac was supposed to be on that tour, the America's Most Wanted, and we waited for him. But anyway, Berg, you could tell the story because I tell it. People,
Pac was supposed to come. He got in that drama in New York, so it's just us, and we're over there in Croatia, and then we did the other side. We went both sides. And we was in this hotel. It was full of all these cats with blue helmets. Like, they like, who is that? That's the United Nations. So this place is safe. Yeah, okay, this shit is safe. A week after we left, they bombed that shit.
Wow.
They called timeout.
So we're at the concert, and the kids at the concert were coming from the war. And we like, is there a war going on or not? They like, not today.
That's crazy.
Wow.
They came to see us, and they went right back out and got busy. One thing I never did was when I would travel the world, I never get involved in foreign politics.
Right.
It's none of my business. I can't go to Brazil and speak on their government and then leave when I don't live there. So I always would just relate it to my politics, what I deal with. I think that's kind of foul when you go someplace and talk about it and then get on a plane and leave. Like, I always try to make sure anything I speak on, I'm fully informed about. I don't want to get quizzed and somebody asks me some questions I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not well enough informed to speak on that topic.
Right. You could be lucky that you can't do that today. in this world today. Yeah, I know you know just when you do body count, and now we go into all these different regions that are looking at the United States with a side eye. So now it's really seriously, yeah, freedom of speech. But yeah, you better watch what you say.
Well, look, I'll speak on this. We just did Warp Tour, right? So during my thing, I might have said something about the president. I'm not a big fan. Everybody should. But anyway, I said this, that, and third. So I gotta I'm doing Car Shield commercials. So Car Shield calls me, says, well, you know, we're catching a lot of slack. Ice-T said this and that. So our reply was, well, could you tell him not to say that? And George replied, would you like him to stop being black too? Like, you know, Ice-T wrote "Cop Killer" and "KKK Bitch" and "Let's Get Her Naked and Fuck" and "Squeeze." You know who you guys signed, right? Because anything you say politically is going to split it. Really, now we got a 50-50 situation.
Oh yeah, on everything, on everything,
So,
on everything.
You know, me myself politically, I'm not a Democrat or a blood Republican. I think it's gang banging to the fullest. You know, the Democrats wear blue, the Republicans wear red, and they bang harder than we bang, and they bang more violently than we bang. Like they'll kill you behind that shit. And my opinion, I agree with some on both sides, you know, and I disagree with something on both sides. So, you know, I'm in the middle. I'm Ice motherfucking T. That's my party, nigga. Fuck everybody. You know? And I the one thing about the politics is once you pick a side, see, this is a gang mentality. If I decide to be a Crip, I gotta ride with the Crips on everything they say. So if you're a Democrat, you got to ride with them on everything. If you're a Republican, you gotta ride with them. That's gang banging.
Yeah.
You know, you pick a side and you gotta rock with it. I can't do that.
Right.
I can't do that. Like
And they recruiting young heads, man, by the decade that don't know the game of the game. So.
I never been in nobody's gang. I'm too much of a leader. I'm gonna make my own call. We could be best friends. I'll say, Chuck, I can't do that one.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna make my own calls. That may be while I'm alive. I'm not really. I gotta use my gut. I gotta, you know, I can't just be down with somebody and say I'm on this gang or this side or whatever. That ain't my get down. So, you know, whatever. And if they got a problem with that, they can kiss my black ass. I really don't.
The floor is open, guys.
Iceberg ain't never changed, boy.
Why change, Don? Why? You know, it's crazy to me, Don. Once I realized that was it, that's it. Like telling the truth, that's it. That's my brand, honestly. Why do you think they got me selling I'm selling chicken and all kind of shit? Because they like understand that my integrity is infallible. I'm not going to promote nothing that ain't official.
Right.
So once I found out all I got to do is say what I really think. That's it. And imagine people who are really fake, like they've lived their life being somebody else. What's that got to be like? You know, it's got to be awful.
Yep.
It's been a crazy ride, though, man. Thanks for having me along on some of it.
You jumped off in Italy. That was your call, nigga. I was like, you know, they say Don went to Italy. I'm like, what happened in Italy? Oh, he met a girl. What the fuck? He came back.
Don.
You came all the way back to the United States.
No, but I'm actually going back to Italy on September 11th. I'm heading back, man, for a while.
He's back and forth, man. He back and forth. Every time you step into Italy, it's the Don's turf.
But you know what, Donald? That's one of the most beautiful things I think I was able to do was take niggas around the world.
Yeah, man.
Because I'm taking kids from the projects who never been out of a 10 square mile. They never seen poor white people. They've never seen Europe. They've never seen Brazil, the poverty in Brazil. They never seen it. And I'm like, you can live anywhere, man. You know, this is my belief, in my opinion. Black people, we all came from the South. Because of slavery. Everybody, my mother was Creole down in New Orleans. Everybody came from the South. Our parents migrated to the best they could do for us. It's our job to go the best place we can for our families. You know, so it could be Switzerland, it could be anywhere. You know, I'm a player, man. We say we play the whole bubble from the
Yep.
pioneers to the big
Oh,
apple,
man.
snowflakes to the earthquakes, Jack. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the whole bubble. This is I'm from, people say, where you from, nigga? I'm from Earth, okay? You know, Chuck is from Earth. So when you're traveling around the world, you might be like, wow, I really like Japan. I like it. Go live there for a minute. Islam is the best at it. Islam got a crib in Thailand. Islam got a crib in Germany. I mean, African Islam is the journeyman of all hip hop.
Yep. First to migrate.
Yeah, he brought
What's
you
up?
to LA. He's really the connection from New York to LA. Islam is the one who really helped me, which connected the dots. So I don't know he ever got his flowers, but Islam is really the one.
Yep.
Never got his just due. But we keep giving his just due every time we turn. We make sure that we mention Africa, Islam. Always, like I said, when we saw you for the first time, man, it was you, Islam, and Evil, giving us the road map and the game rules.
And Evil's from Brooklyn. Evil and them is Honduran. They from Brooklyn. That's how I met them. They New York City Spin Masters, and they some LA transplants. But once you live in LA enough and seen enough of the gang movement, you understand that it's bigger than you. You know, I got a rhyme where I say, you know, LA rappers, they got certain records set them off. So if you play Atomic Dog, it's gonna pop off. If you play More Bounce, it's gonna pop off. That sets them off because Crips are called Crip Dogs. So they play it. So I had a rap where I say DJ drops the cut, meaning that particular song. 250 niggas throw they sets up. LA style, nigga, what? If you never seen it before, it'll put a knot in your gut. Stand up, check your area, regroup your troops. These gang killers is real, plus they off the loop. Proceeding, leave a nigga bleeding. They nut the fuck up in a frenzy like fucking sharks feeding. Bitches start screaming and stampeding. Thank God this evening I didn't leave the burner in the PM. So it's like it hits like a storm. Donald, you've been in a gang situation. You've seen it go down, right?
Yeah, man. I got to the left.
Here's a funny story. One more funny story. If I take Fab Five Freddy to this concert downtown LA, and Freddie pulls up with me, and Freddie like, I don't see no gangbangers. This shit is hype. I'm like, they here, dog. Like they don't look like colors. Like they don't have the bandanas around them. Look, the shoelaces. It's a belt. They're here. So I see some 8 trays over here. I see some Mexicans. So I'm like, okay. I say they here. So Curtis Blow was playing that night. Man, them niggas took off on somebody up in the side. They beat this dude all the way through the side, all the way down to the side. He was trying to get backstage, and they killed him. Fab Five Freddy, you know how you got one crazy eye? That nigga's eyes went straight. Like, that nigga's eyes like, I got it, Ice. I got it, Ice. Let's leave. He went out the back. And that on Freddie said, I got it. I get it. Like,
yeah.
You never seen 40 cats fighting at one time. You know, like.
How do you handle the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Triceratops of body count, which seems to be getting bigger?
Yeah, it is.
Every 5 years it gets bigger. And then Law and Order, which just don't stop. How the fuck that happen? How the fuck does that happen? How do you not get broken in 3 parts? I mean, what?
Law and Order is a day job. So Law and Order works. Law and Order does 5 days a week, right? They film 5 days a week. First off, I didn't know I was signing up for fucking 27 years. I went on, I did 5 shows with Dick Wolf. I started with New York Undercover. I did 3 episodes of that. I did a show he called Swift Justice. I did a show called Exiled. I had a show called Players. And then I came to Law and Order. I came to do 4 episodes. Here I am, season 27. The check's clear, Chuck, and I'm a black guy. I don't jump off a boat while it's floating, okay? Even though so Law and Order shoots, it takes 8 days to shoot an episode, right? Add the weekend, that's 10 days. So you shoot 3 episodes a month. Got it? You as a character on the show are only in the scenes you're in. So out of 45 scenes, an average episode, you might be in 5 scenes. You might be in 10. You might be in 20. But you're getting an episodic rate. So if you say, hold on. If you say, you get the same check that if you act in 45 scenes. Feel me? So my fans want me to act more. I'm like, no, because the less I act, the more they're paying me for the amount of work I have to do. Now, that being said, I could work all day on a Monday, off on a Tuesday, off on a Wednesday, heavy Thursday, Friday. See, because it's based on where the scenes land. So I have free time, but I can't leave the city for those 5 days because they might change the script. Body Count, I record with a producer named Will Putney. He lives in Jersey. And I do Body Count like a sandwich. I start with Body Count by them sending me tracks. They send me riffs and riffs and riffs and riffs and riffs. I'm able to listen to the track and say, that track sucks, but the breakdown is good. Make a song out of the breakdown. Now take that breakdown and connect it. So I kind of like Lego the tracks together. Some of the tracks come in and just dope. Then I tell them how to format it. Thanks to Pro Tools, you couldn't have done this back in the day. You have to play it live. So with Pro Tools, they cut, paste until they create the song the way I want it. Then they can go play it the way I've arranged it. Got it? Okay. Right. Now we've decided this is going to be a song. They lay it, they mixed it down to a 2-track. And I do it like a rap record. Mm-hmm. I'm not in the studio with guitar players. I'm not in the studio with a drummer. I'm in the studio with the 2-track.
Right.
And then I come in, I do vocals. Then I listen, and I come in, I add vocals, and I move vocals. Blah, blah, blah. I'm only doing vocal work. When I'm in the studio, it's just me and an engineer.
Right.
And then Will Putney is so dope, he mixes the shit out of that shit. And it just sounds dope. So that's how I do it. Now, how do we tour? I can perform anywhere in the United States on a Saturday. Because if I get up in the morning, fly to LA, I land LA at 11. I could perform Saturday night and be back home on Sunday to be on call time on Monday. And then we have 2 months hiatus in the summer. And that's when we go to Europe. But we only tour like festivals. We do festivals. We line up a bunch of festivals. And then we do spot gigs between the festivals. That's how I do
it. And both of them are getting bigger.
They get bigger. Merciless, the last album, was a big, huge hit. I mean, you know, it's a blessing. I think that certain music has to have certain political things happening for it to hit. Like when Body Count first came out, we came out in the era of Rage Against the Machine. Rage was one of our opening acts. I'll tell you, we played the Palace, and Ernie was friends with Tom, and Tom, Ernie's like, I got an opening act, and I went to sound check, and I'm like, that ain't no fucking opening act. Like, what the fuck? Zach jumped in the air. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And then we came to New York and we played with them in Onyx in New York. You know, and man, I'm just having fun. Here's another quote you told me. You said, Ice, at this time, if you're not having fun, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yep.
And so I'm having fun. So I kind of make everybody understand that if I'm not having fun, it's not gonna happen. When I go out on the road with my guys and they start fighting, I go, yo, if this starts having fun, we're not gonna do it no more. You know? And they know I got TV money, so they be like, okay, this nigga's serious. But I got it down to a science, Chuck, and I've been doing Ice-T rap shows. I just did a show in the Bay with Mac Mall. I did a show in Chicago. I got, so I'm going out. But when I do Ice-T, I do small shit. I do like House of Blues size stuff.
You're totally inspiration. I'll let Flatline, C-Doc know, and Ultra, and Jenny know, man, that, I'm going into the magazine area, maybe in the art area, and keep working it out. And I said, you're the perfect example of why the perseverance, the nonstop hustle, the pointing at an object and then hitting it, man. It is none better, Bird.
Henry Rollins motivated me a lot. Because Henry Rollins was like, he got Black Flag, and he was doing spoken word, and it's like he kind of taught me that don't be so pumped that you don't want a swimming pool. Like just remember what you want in life and be gangster enough to do it. This is my fucking, I never got a tattoo. I was going to put a tattoo once when I was in the Army. He was going to say Born to Lose. Dude wouldn't tat it on me. He said, nah, you look like a winner. Then I was going to tat It's My Fucking Life on my back. The tat dude said, I think tats on your back is stupid because you can't see them, and when you see them, they're backwards. So I said, you know what? I ain't doing that. But it's my fucking life. And you gotta just do everything you want to do, and you gotta be whatever you particularly want to be. That you can't allow other people to, like people say, well, what does the hood think about it? I'm like, I used to prey on the hood. I thought everyone in the hood was stupid, but me. My niggas, we used to take advantage of the niggas. So therefore, how the fuck am I listening to somebody from the hood? You know what I'm saying? I only listen to high echelon players, cats that have a supreme intelligence and understanding the elevation. I don't talk to nobody that's stuck on stupid.
All right, so let me ask you a question. How did you feel about the experience of being on that first Lollapalooza tour?
Well, that happened because Ernie knew Perry Farrell. I'll tell you, here's a great story. We got on that because of Sly Stone.
Really?
Watch this. Sly was supposed to do Nigger Whitey with Perry Farrell. Don't call me nigger, Whitey. Perry Farrell did it on The Gift. Sly didn't show up because he's fucking Sly Stone. So he didn't show up. So Ernie was there, and Perry didn't know who to use. And Ernie said, what about Ice? And he called me. I happened to pick up the phone. I showed up, and I did that song with him. Perry then said, I have a tour going out called Lollapalooza. Would you like to go? I said, hell yeah, I'll be the only rapper. Then I said, how long do I got? He said, 60 minutes. And so I decided to split my set, half Ice-T, half Body Count. And, after we finished the Ice-T set, which you were there, I said, now I'm going to prove to you that rock and roll has nothing to do with color. It's a state of mind. And we kicked them guitars on and blew everybody the fuck away.
Yeah.
And that was Lollapalooza. It was fun being out there with a Butthole Surfers, who I knew from Jello Biafra and Alternative Tentacles, 9 Inch Nails.
Yep. Susie and the Banshees.
Yeah, and
Living Color.
It was funny though. We were out there with Living Color.
Yeah,
the press was like, so what's it feel like to be the only black band out here? I said, Living Color is out here. You mean niggas, don't you? That's what you mean, right?
Man, it was a great experience, man. Yeah, being in front of them rock crowds, man, watching Perry every night.
It was beautiful because we went on early, so every night we got to go to a Jane's Addiction concert.
Yeah. Wow. We were breaking guitars with 9 Inch Nails. Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun. And, you know, everybody proved it. Remember how Butthole Surfers, Gibby came out with a shotgun. Blah!
Yep. Yeah, fun times.
We had a hell of an intro, Chuck. You should have heard our intro. Our intro at the show was Mickey would come out and say, Ice-T cannot perform tonight. He's been banned. Then we had the sound of a helicopter over, and whatever city, I'd be like, what's that? That's Seattle down there? Land this motherfucker. And you heard the helicopter get louder and louder and louder and louder and louder. And then we came out on stage. I was shooting a gun.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, we had, you know, it was theatrics, like Chuck said. You know, Donald knows it was all about performance. Remember, we used to have all the bulletproof vests and all that shit back in the day. But, you know, somebody will do it again, and then they'll say, oh, that was new. No, we did it.
Great memories, man.
Man, I remember one time, you know, me and Berg, we sitting in Brisbane, Australia, back before Australia was a easy place to go and play.
Oh, yeah.
And we were sitting, sipping tea, talking about how we were over at 34 and 36.
Yeah. Well, you know,
the Source magazine, I think, was like, you know, Ice-T at 36 and Chuck D at 34, they're over. You know, it's like, and we're sipping tea in Brisbane, Australia.
Yeah.
Source magazine. How'd you pick Chuck Cube and me? How the fuck you pick us three? Like that was duty, just us three at once. Like we're all done. I'm like, how the fuck you pick me, Cube, and Public Enemy? Like you motherfucker really on some bullshit. But you know, like, remember how we used to tag the dressing rooms, and I would go to the most obscure shit. You see a PE tag or a Run DMC tag,
right?
You want to get your name up there. Like we want to go to the farthest recesses of the world. We play Russia, crazy shit. You know, play China. I was one of the first people to play China. Like, what the fuck are we doing in China? But you know, I mean, you can't take away the memories. And like I say, those who say don't know, and those who know don't say.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know we were there. That's what's up. And I still get now on social media people like, man, I experienced you. I was 15. I was this. I was that. You guys blew my mind at this point in that time. And that's a great feeling, man. You know, we still doing it. That's the cool thing.
Ice taught me how to block people.
I block people in real life. So like if I'm talking to you and you go left, I go. I block people. I every year I do a purge on my phone. I cut people off. You know, there's a thing that the cartel does called cuts off your tail. Like they'll have a burner phone, but it'll only be for a week or two, and then it changes. That's called cutting off your tail. That means if someone's on you, they're only on you for a couple of days, then it's down. So having these long tails, these numbers that last forever allows too many people on it. So you got to purge every once in a while. I ran into one of my friends in LA. I can't say his name, but he was like, yo, Ice, I ain't seen you in 20 years. We need to hook up and this, that, and the third. So I took his number. Then I thought about it. Like, I ain't talked to this nigga in 20 years, man. Like, I can't fuck with this nigga. Like, what the fuck? Like, if I hadn't missed you, then what the fuck are we gonna get back in? I didn't miss you. I would have, like some shit is good. Some shit's supposed to be behind you. Like, yo, I would have hunted you down if I missed you. I
And
heard
that's in the almost all due respect. Yep, that's true. It's all due respect to it. That
Chris Tucker got a great joke where he says that he would go to a family reunion and his uncle, Uncle, how you been doing? And Uncle say, oh man, oh lordy, man, God must have sent you. I don't know how I'm gonna pay these bills. I don't know either. I'll see you in another 20, nigga. Like, come on, man. So no, Donald will attest. My team, my circle is still there. Everybody, my close circle.
Yep.
And Don, all of them.
Islam, yep.
I only got one rule: is have you ever crossed me? That's it. If you haven't crossed me, we still cool. But some people, they crossed me, and we, I can't fuck with that. A nigga that'll cross you will set you up, and I've been set up by my friend before. I just wrote a lyric about that. I said I've been set up, double crossed, and laid down by my fucking friend who's no longer around. So. We live, we learn. By now, Chuck, we're supposed to know every fucking thing. In your 60s, the fuck? You supposed to learn all your lessons.
In this game, when I don't know, you know who I give a call to? Your Berg.
Well, the shit ain't over. The shit is not over. Fucking Mick Jagger's having, and these Al Pacino and these niggas is having babies at 80. They don't give a fuck. Like, them niggas is busting nuts. Men can bust nuts forever. Women have menopause. Men, we can bust nuts till the wheels fall and want to bust nuts. So I ain't got, they say you as young as the woman that's feeling you, and I'm good. I'm like, I'm good. But I honestly, I'm gonna say this in all sincerity. I feel if I stop, I'll die.
Yeah.
I think that as a man, every day, if you get up out the bed, put your feet on the ground, and you got something to do, a purpose, you're gonna live. But as soon as you don't have a purpose,
Ice called me on my birthday early in the month, and he said, "Yeah, Chuck, it's really this simple, man. It's like, if you don't keep it moving, everything moving, it goes real fast."
Mm.
yeah. I said I'm that old school nigga with the gray hair, paralyzed, still have you killed from my wheelchair, nigga. I watch the kung fu movies, the old guys. It's on, they still doing the art. Look at Flavor.
Flavor, still young Flavor.
Benjamin Button.
Yeah. Stage diving at 66.
Yeah.
Mm.
Can't stop. I know one thing, like I always been in shape, but if you stop, you lose it quicker. So what took me 10 push-ups now takes 30. It's like, you're fighting an uphill battle, but it can be won. You have to just stay active and keep busting nuts. You got to keep busting nuts. That lowers your blood pressure. It keeps off. When I bust a nut, I could feel all the veins in my body. It's like a twin. It's like, oh shit, it all works. You gotta do that. Come on, cut a man's dick off. He's like, just put it in my head, man. Like, what the fuck? I only got nothing to, my legs off before you cut my dick off. Like,
Ladies and gentlemen, iced tea.
Flatline. Where's some questions from Flatline?
Flatline. What the fuck? You got on the Ice Tea t-shirt. That's my first logo.
Yeah.
That David Halili made with the
Yep.
Shout out to Dave. Yeah.
Dave Halili made a lot of the artwork for Ron Syndicate, and that was a shout out to hip hop by being original graffiti style. and the T with the little big Uzi pistol. Yeah.
Well, I just want to take a minute just to thank you for all your support of Hip Hop Gods. You, without question, hold us down in terms of all the reposts and everything, and vice versa. It goes both ways. So thank you very much.
Hey, anything Chuck's involved with, I'm riding. Like, I'm one of them cats. If you my man, when I see your picture on the, I just like it. I don't give a fuck what you said, nigga. That's my people. Certain people I have feelings like that. Some people I don't ride like that for. But you guys have always been official, and I know his intention is trying to keep the culture alive, growing, and as it morphs into different things. Right now, man, it's just rough. It's very, very rough for the new artists because with streaming, I don't know how to get their head out of the water. I think the only hope for the new artists is to actually go back to the very beginning where you create a website and you sell direct to consumer from the website. And getting that fan base, and the way you get people onto a website, you create a chat room, you create things that get people to come there. It's difficult because there's a lot of distractions, but I'm glad I'm not only in the record business. Like, if I was only in the record business, it'd be rough. People say, well, you made a lot of money on the records. I blew that dough. I fucked that off. I mean, watching me, I had Rolls Royces for the last 35 years. Like, what the fuck? Where that money went? I mean, I had houses in the hills with convertible pools, and but I always know that I got to keep hustling. I got to do other things. And most of us, like Chuck and even Jay-Z and 50 Cent, like, Jay's money ain't really coming from the records. That came from all his title and all his moves, and 50 is doing television. This is meant to morph into other bigger things. Nas is doing big things. So, also I think hip hop, the target audience is 15 to 25. That's hip hop. That's when we hit 15 to 25. So I can't really expect no 18-year-old girl to want to listen to no 60-year-old nigga. Like, that's not what's going to happen. What I will have is an adult hip hop audience that's classic, that likes to still fuck with their favorites.
Yes.
So we have an adult hip hop audience that's out there that still loves the classics from the golden. But the theory is you're going to be as hot as Drake right now. No, ain't nobody trying to get your dusty ass dick. They want Drake's dick. And the reason it's 15 to 25 is because that's when you're in high school, that's when you're in college, that's when you have to really be connected to what the hippest, newest thing is.
Right.
Because you go to school, you heard the new song by such and such. Oh, I'm with that. That's that. You're clicked up. Once you get out of college, people are doing their own thing. Once you're 30, even a record you like, you might listen to it once or twice that week, not 30 times that day. So we got, and I don't have no feelings, man. Like, me and Chuck and LL, we were on the cover of every magazine for like 5-10 years. We held it down. So pass the torch. It's not meant for us. It's meant for them. Until Chuck O comes out with adult contemporary hip hop magazine. It's funded by AARP. Without everybody gotta have gray hair.
Yeah, we're looking for that money. Yep. Yeah, ARP, hands out. Flatline's been there 16 years in a row. So,
But
we're finding ways.
One thing that we haven't done is hip hop hasn't really aged out.
No.
So we don't really know where the finish line is, if there is one. I don't think there is one, because when you hear the Clips album, they're nastier than New Cat. Then you listen to Ghostface's record, you listen to Raekwon, Nas is still on top of his shit. My shit's still decent. It's like, what's the end? Did James Brown ever stop? Will George Clinton ever stop?
Right. George Clinton still playing.
Did Miles Davis stop?
Nope.
I don't think you stopped doing art.
Right.
I don't think, your fan base might change and deviate, but I just don't think you stop. I mean, like I said, I'm recording now in my house because I love it.
Yeah.
How about those UK rappers? Was they Pete and Baz? They in their 70s, man.
Them niggas is dope too. The white,
Yep. They get ready to do their American tour.
I'll go see them. They spitting. But
Yep.
see, this is the thing. They didn't just start rapping. They've been rapping for probably 20, 30 years. You just didn't know them.
Right.
They didn't wake up 70 years old rapping like that. They've been spitting. So they just held out. They just like, no, we don't want to come out yet. We gonna wait. Got shelved to something for 40 years. Who knows? But they're dope. They're dope.
Yeah, they killing it right now.
What's the new music that you're making with Tretch? Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, so me and Tretch, everything I got cause a fucking crazy story to it. Me and Tretch were using this studio in New Jersey that the guy got busted for fentanyl. The guy who owned it got busted with like a pound of fentanyl. So we're like, this nigga's gone, right? So I called up, I said, what's gonna happen to the studio? So I ended up talking to his mother. His mother said, well, you guys just take the rent and you could have the studio. So me and Tretch had a studio. We were in the studio. Everything's good. So we start making records. Dude pops back up. We like, oh, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, we're partners. I'm like, wait a minute. No, we're not partners. Like, hold on. So, we came in there one night. He had a gambling game going. And we like, yo, this is not the plan. So Donald came to the studio. The studio was nice, right, Don?
Yeah.
But we had to back out of that studio. But while we were there, we did a project called Black Cadillac. And Black Cadillac, we were in the car one night, me, Coco, and Tretch's wife, Cicely, and we just started rapping, and we just said our name is Black Cadillac, and we was rhyming, and he was Mac and Jackson, and I was Coupe de Ville. We're two out of control super pimps that are just out, so we rapping these other, it's just, and the name of the group is Black Cadillac. We did a record called Rob Paul Revere and all kinds of shit. Like, it's wild. It's meant to be entertaining and funny. It's more funny. And just rapping with Tretch is a whole nother experience because that motherfucker's a machine.
Right. Right.
But it contrasts. My style and his style kind of work. Me and Smooth the Hustler did a song the other day. Smooth is one of my favorite rappers. Him and Trigger the Gambler. When I came to New York, Repossession. When I came to New York, Broken Language was on the air along with It Takes Two. And I went to the radio station and they asked me what was I listening to. I said, this guy Rob Bass and these other guys, the Jesus Killer, the this, the that, the this. And they go, oh, that's Smooth the Hustler. He's from Brooklyn. Before I got out of the radio station, them niggas was downstairs at the radio. And from that moment on, I said, Smooth, and Trigger is his brother, the Smith brothers, and we became really good friends, and I laced them up in LA, and we rapped together, and so me and Smooth did a song, his song with Donald D on his project, done a lot of features.
We need to do a video for that song with you and Chuck, the Hello joint.
I need some money for that, man. You got to take it. No, but you can do a video on a cell phone now. There's no video channels.
Yeah, you're right.
But that's what it is. It's Black Cadillac. But just what happened during the time Tretch started his own solo album. I kind of inspired him, and I also was in there poking the bear.
Yeah.
Because
what was his apprehension?
Going in. like going in, like going hard, like as hard as he could go. You know what I'm saying? Because he's naughty by nature. Hip hop hooray, ho. I'm like, okay, that's naughty, but let's do Trigger Tretch.
Yeah.
Let's go Trigger Tretch style.
Yeah.
He also got inspired because Eminem big up him in
Art of Rap.
Art of Rap. That, I mean, you guys don't know, but when somebody else, your peers big ups you, that makes you feel, it's a way different feeling than a fan.
Oh yeah.
That was the first time that he heard it like that from him.
Well, it was the most publicized, you know, because it was in the movie, and how M went back and said his lines, his raps.
Right.
Eminem's a student of every single one of us. You better know that.
Yeah.
You know, the cold thing about M, he'll battle you as you.
I know, right? I know.
That boy is not to fuck with, you know. But I think M has the same attitude as we had with Body Count. Like, he knew he was coming into a black situation, and he had to be that much better.
Yeah.
So when we did Body Count, we're coming into heavy metal. We got to be unfuckwithable. We got to be so good they can't deny us. We're not posing. We're dead serious. And that made him just jump into this other hyperspace rapping that he does that very few can really reach the way he goes. He goes hard.
Yeah.
Wow. Any other questions?
Yeah, you also got cannabis operations in Jersey with Tretch too. I heard that's going well.
Yeah, what happened was, you want to hear the story? You just want to hear? I like to tell the story.
Yeah, please.
What happened was Phil Murphy, Mickey Benson was working with Phil Murphy for running for governor, and so I got to meet the governor. I said, "How do you stand on cannabis?" He said, "I'll legalize." So at that point, I thought I had insider information. So I quickly moved. I said, "What's it going to take to get a license?" And I had a friend in California who ran had an eight-year dispensary. So I called them and I said, "Would you mentor me?" They said, "We'll partner with you." So we went 50-50. It was called the Medicine Woman. So what we did was we just franchised them. We brought them over to Jersey. They plugged and played. We were up running the first day. And I just brought Tretch in because although I was born in New Jersey, Tretch is like one of my best friends. And I'm like, you are New Jersey. It's you, Latifah, and Redman. So I'm going to bring you in, give you part ownership. And, you know, we went from there. But you know, right now we're not doing as well as we thought because we were planning on being open 2 years ago, and it took 5 years to get open. So, you know, we're in the mix with the rest of the dispensaries, but we're gonna come out on top because we're gonna try to be the first one to have a consumption lounge. Now, I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke anything. I don't do drugs, but I have done some gummies, and them shits had me fucked up. I was starting conversations and I didn't even know what the point was by halfway through it. I was trying to make a point. I don't know what I was like, yo.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, I've experimented with some things now down the road, but I'm not a smoker. So, but I've been in contact high you wouldn't believe because, you know, but yeah. But anyway, you know, people say, "Oh, you got a dispensary and you don't smoke weed." I'm like, I sold coke.
Right. My dad was an outstanding. Dad was an outstanding bartender. Never drank. He was an outstanding bartender.
Look. I did it as an investment, and I never heard weed killing nobody. You know, so I'm not going to get involved in nothing. I just had a show on A&E about fentanyl. Right now, I wouldn't do any drug. I wouldn't do any drug because fentanyl is out there and it could kill you on the first try. So I just adamantly would tell nobody to take a pill unless they got it from a doctor. Like, come on, man. I mean, that's how Michael Williamson died. That's how Coolio died. Yeah. This shit is dead serious. So
yeah, you just had the statements. I think it's tell us about it because I just read that last week that so Ice-T comes out and says, against this aggression that's lacing in this and that fentanyl. You had that statement against it. You talked about Michael Williams and Coolio and people like
I
that.
did a show, Chuck, on A&E. It showed last night. It's called Fame and Fentanyl, and I was basically I'm like the new Morgan motherfucking Freeman. I'm Mr. Narrator now, so they got me narrating it. But I try to do things like at this point in my life, I want to do things that are important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even my new rap, I try to keep it a little bit more brought back. I used to rap in the Mobb Deep style where anybody could get it type stuff. I've changed a lot. I'm trying to say, that was then. Let's educate a little bit. I'm trying to lighten it up. Still keep it hard, but not as, wild. Because that's not positive. I don't. They ask me. They say, "You doing this gangster rap? Do you think it's really influenced kids and stuff?" Chuck, I look at it like this. If it's what you grew up on and this is how you living, if Soup is singing about gangbanging because he's gangbanging, right? It's just folk music. It's him singing about what he's living.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a kid from Omaha and you decide you want to join the Crips because you heard that, that's the equivalent to me listening to Garth Brooks in New York and getting a horse. That's like,
Right.
I like country western so much, I want to be a fucking country western. So anyone from the outside that adopts this behavior, what you going to, you can't prevent it.
Right.
But it's not meant for that. It's not meant for them to do it. But people watch gangster movies and want to join the mob. Do you really want to join the mob? Do you know?
Yeah, that's what I said. On your whole catalog, you hear Ice-T, and basically he'll tell that story, and he'll give you a little way out. You could probably squeeze your way out of it in the second verse, because the third verse is going to put you down. And so that's what I always got as a listener, to Ice-T. It's like, it's almost like the message, Melly Mel's last verse, man, made me never want to go to lockdown ever.
Right.
I never wanted to go. He's swinging like a Maytag. I'm like, yo, man. and that moved me, man. And I wanted to hear it all the time.
You know how I explain Ice-T to people the best? In real life, I was this guy running down this road. This is the hustler road. I wanted to be the best hustler. I wanted to be the best player. I wanted to be the coolest, the sharpest dressed. And I'm running full speed. This is my real life. And I'm running. But I get to the end of this road and it's a cliff. And I'm seeing my friends go off this cliff. Ice-T is me on that same road running back up the road saying, don't go that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't go that way.
Like that.
Now, some people are going to listen. Some people are going to be like, oh, you old, I'm slicker, I'm smarter, and they're going to hit that cliff. But that's who I am. I know what the end results is, and I'm going to tell you. But I also know how attractive and how enticing it looks. And I know, the win is on the first album, it's fun in the beginning, but it's pain in the end. You can't deny the fun. The fun is real. So that's why when you see the hustlers and you see them out there and they flossing and they look flashy and they got the cars, and for a minute you're like, damn, man, I want that. But what comes with it? I remember my boy used to tell me, I see somebody balling by, and I'll be like, yo, that's a sharp car. He'd be like, yeah, that nigga might have somebody in the trunk, Ice. You don't know what. And my mother taught me, if you took all your friends and put them in a room and they all threw their problems up in the air, I bet you reach for yours on the way down. So I always was able to look at other people, but never really wanted to be them. Like, people want Bill Gates' money, but you don't want to be that goofy motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be that nigga. So you want things, but we all love us. We want to be us. That's it. We don't want to be some fucking body else. So yeah, but that's just, this is just the growth of an artist and how he sees things. And I think that you have to mature. Now that album you had, that one, the crime stories, who had that in the background? That's a triple album I dropped, Chuck. And it's all story rhymes from all my albums. It's only stories. And I put it out on vinyl, a triple vinyl, because that way you can count how many actually sold, because fuck a stream. And I put all the lyrics inside of it and everything. And the reason I call it the legend of Ice-T is because a lot of things people believe me ain't true. It's just part of the story. It's the legend. Remember
that man holding that record did the design on that album.
Well, I did the layout. Yeah.
You did the layout. Yeah,
vinyl.
Tommy the animator did the covers.
Yeah.
But yeah, because a lot of shit people think about me as a legend. Yo, Ice and Donna was in the club. Ice knocked out 5 niggas. I didn't knock out nobody. I pushed the security guard out the way. But the legend, I whooped ass. So that's what a lot of people believe. A lot of stuff that's not. There's a legend of Chuck D. There's a legend. There's a lot of stories that you hear about yourself that you're like, really? Right? So that's
true.
So in my music, I create this thing I created. I call it faction. Faction is how I tell stories. It's factual occurrences put into a fictional scenario. So it rings really true, but that's how all movies are written. They take factual situations and make a story. So if Donald told me, cops busted me last night, what happened? Oh, they went in my back seat. They cut it open with a box cutter. That really happened. Now that can happen to Ice-T in a record. Follow me? Because it's real. So when you hear this shit, it rings true because it is real shit. Just didn't all happen to me. So, it's art. Take it or leave it. Believe what you want to believe.
So speaking of that, my favorite album of yours, I mean, you've made so many great records, but is OG. And how it's so I think of it as your epic because it weaves all these stories, and with the production, how did you approach it from songwriting and working with the producers to put it together the way it is?
It was nerve-wracking with that record because that was the first record I wasn't using Africa Islam.
Yeah.
So now is politely bowed out. Islam went to Japan. Islam stopped producing me because he did what Chuck said. It was too easy. And he said, I don't want people to think I can only produce you. I got to go produce the world. And he went to Japan. So now I don't know who I'm going to use. So SLJ was around. Aladdin had just won the world championship. Aladdin wasn't really producing at that time. So Aladdin and them got in the studio, and Ace and it's all the cats that were around me waiting. And I always used in-house producers, just cats. And I never used outside rappers either. If you wasn't part of the crew, NG's on records, Don, all the cats that was in my team. And we was just trying to do something epic, like I say, a double out. It was intended to be a double album and a video first. That was my whole idea, which two other ideas got shot down, and it came out. The album still hit. It opens with Home of the Body Bag, and it's a pretty big record.
On Flyby.
Yeah, Flyby's in that.
That was originally Kaz was on that song with you and that.
Yeah, Donald T. You made it, and the way we shot those videos, Jump, was crazy. I had a checklist, right? And I would get in the car, and we would play a song, and I'd aim the camera this way, and I'd do the thing. Then I would look over to the other way, and I'd say, okay, stand over there, and I would shoot another song, and I would check off on a list how many places we had shot particular videos.
Wow.
And then I just punched them together because I had Lifestyles of Rich and Infamous. I had a certain amount of real videos amongst the ones we put together.
Right.
The Tower was shot in San Quentin when I went up there to do a show with Paul Rodriguez.
Right.
Off the bus, man. Remember I lost my ID.
Which one?
When we went up there, did the show up with Paul Rodriguez, and they made me get off the bus. And you and Iz was like,
Donna went in. That was crazy going in San Quentin, right?
yep. Then you and Iz start clowning like, yo, who's this guy on our bus? They snatched. That was a crazy sight performing for them lifers and all them people up in there, man.
I got that on VHS somewhere here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's been quite a ride. I don't even remember. A lot of this shit is wild though, but you can't go in front of the prison and you fake. Like they gonna know
Exactly.
what you're talking about. And all my guys that were in prison were like, Ice, don't send nobody here. They were like, rap it, don't lie, don't push the truth, and also don't implicate nobody. There's a book called Donald Goins Writes No More. And in the book, Donald Goins spoke too much about street niggas, and basically they killed him. So that dry snitching can get you fucked up. When I wrote one of my books, my boy Al P, I changed his name, and then he was like, yo, you changed my name. I'm like, yeah, because what I was talking about. He's like, you trying to write me out of history. So these niggas want juice for negative shit. But, it is what it is. I particularly, how would I say this? I like car movies. I like aggressive shit. That's just my type of shit. I like cult movies. I like dark stuff. I like, so my music is going to reflect that, whatever it is. So, and I was always about the music matching the topic. I don't want to hear no happy music and you talking about a drive-by. That doesn't connect. So like when the track comes on, like I say, when you hear Mobb Deep, when that shit comes, oh, the killers, something bad's about to happen before they even start rapping. So give me that track that's going to match this topic, or vice versa. I'm going to hear the track and I'm going to match the topic to the track. Because to me, music tells me what the song is about. That's how I hear it. I hear the hook. That's how I make music.
Speaking of, man, I remember the happiest moment I've ever seen with a rap act. One of the happiest expressions that was genuine outside of their persona is when you took Mobb Deep on their first national tour, and they had said that they had never been invited on a tour before, and yourself and Mick made sure, and I think we took some pictures behind the Palladium where the Art of Rap was playing, and they were both just like, yo, man, this is the first time we ever got invited on a tour, city to city. And that type of stuff is like, what do you call this? Immeasurable.
I mean, Prodigy is my favorite rapper, hands down. And the reason I like Prodigy is because he's literal. I like to be able to, I want to, when I work with Slayer, Tommy said, if you can't hear what I'm saying, how can you hear what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, and Mel says, keep it simple. So I love listening to Prodigy. I mean, I love the Alchemist production. I love really to me, Havoc and Prodigy damn near rhyme identical. Like they have a different voice, but the energy is so matched. Mm-hmm. And I just like listening to him. I mean, I can't help it. It makes me want to go rob a motherfucker. It's just that tension that they create, and I like Infamous Mob stuff. I'm a very big Queensbridge fan. I love, everybody from Tragedy. I love Lakey the Kid. I love all those cats that came out of there. Of course, Nas, but just that whole energy to me was the mirror of West Coast gangster rap. That was New York gangster rap. And I was with Prodigy the night he passed in Vegas. And boy was healthy, was built like an ox, he looked good, everything was crazy. That was one of the most shocking moments. And he had just moved over here into Jersey near me, and we had plans, So, I mean, lyrically, man, he slept on, but the boy was a writer, and Havoc is too. So that was my honor to take them on the road. It was funny though. A lot of us, man, I don't know about you, Chuck, but all the hardcore people, whether it was Capone, Noriega, all the gangsters, all the tough, we never got invited to shit. They didn't invite us to no award shows. We didn't get invited to none of them after parties. Motherfuckers like, you been to a Diddy party? Them niggas didn't have niggas like me up in no Diddy party. I could tell. Nigga like, what's going on, nigga? What's happening? So that's what people say, yo, the Illuminati. I'm like, I ain't met the Illuminati because them niggas know I'll tell. I ain't met no Illuminati. Never. Nothing. Maybe I don't have enough big enough bag, but yeah. I mean, that's what this is all about, though, isn't it? It's like being a hip hopper is not just a rapper, you're a fan. And, when I did Drink Champs, I'm like, man, Nori, you're Capone and Noriega, you're shy, yeah, that shit, I'm War Report, nigga, like that's you. I don't think these people know that's you, and they was hardcore Queensbridge, and that was the stuff I love, I love that stuff. I'm trying to think who's doing it now. I mean, groups like MOP, I don't hear it no more. I don't hear that type of energy.
You either do the songs or the songs do you. So it takes a little bit of body and head to even begin to do that.
That MOP shit, Fame and them, that shit's crazy. That's what. But I did a song with Billy Danzig, and he came and just started doing some crazy ad libs. I was like, yo, this is MOP style shit. But that's their thing. That's the thing. Oh man, yeah, man. I don't. I always tell people though, Chuck, no disrespect though. I say, you know what would hit right now in hip hop? A young Public Enemy, 20-year-old PE, a bunch of little militant kids that could check all these goofball motherfuckers and let them know they're on their bullshit, that have a lot of intelligence that can bring it back around. And they need a nigga like Griffin there that says, motherfucker, and they got to be hard and back it up. That we could use. And also a young Lauryn Hill. A counter to Cardi, a counter to Nicki, the counter. The opposite. The black girl with the afro that's singing about what, the B-side,
And that age range, yeah.
Those two would hit.
They rebel in different ways, and they in podcasting, they do different art, quirky things. Whether they spitting anymore, since they're in other places.
You know who I think is talented though? The girl, Her.
Yeah, she is.
She's like a female Prince to me.
Yeah.
She's talented, plays instruments and all that, but she's not a kid. Like the kids. Hip hop was created by the youth. Hip hop, that 23-year-old, 25-year-old fire. is what's needed. But hey, you know, I'm not in the record business no more, and you know, who knows what's going on. I think AI is about to take us all away, and you know, I don't really give a fuck. You know, it's what it is. I might be the last era of real actors. They don't need actors no more. They just AI me. They can keep me 35 years old, thin in the waist, handsome in the face. Go with it. You know, fuck it. I don't care. I learned from Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones taught me. He said, if you want to lose a fight, fight the future.
Wow. Wow.
Got you, Chuck? If you want to lose a fight, fight the future. The future is coming, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And you got to learn how to ride it, or it's going to ride you. It's going to roll over you. And we like things we grew up on because we're familiar with it. But my daughter, she doesn't care. Does she care if this real actor? They watch cartoons. They don't really care. As long as the story is told, they don't care. You know? So, who knows?
I gotta say, past is past, whether it's 24 hours or 50 years ago, it's still past is past.
Real talk. So, who knows, man? And all the podcast shit, the last podcast I did was Drink Champs. I stopped doing podcasts because I'm like, I talked on there for 4 hours. I'm like, refer to Drink Champs, man.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you because y'all my friends. I'll talk, but I'm not going on there. Now the new shit is talk about other people and spit on yourself and all that old goofball shit. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not from that era. I'm from the era where everything that's illegal should remain a secret.
Right.
Period. If you know that, if you follow that rule, you'll be all right. Well, let me tell you, man, I was with Donald the other night. He shot this motherfucker. Don was right with me. He pulled, oh, shit, Don. Now, that's what they do on the podcast. They go, Ice-T, you wasn't no gangster. We heard you was a bitch. Nigga, I got my gun on me right now, motherfucker. You know, that's what they do. You. And then they just start telling on themselves. So.
Well, for 200, man, this is the crew up there. I didn't mean to like cannibalize and consume a lot of the
man,
questions,
come on.
But
Come on.
you know,
it's all good.
200, man. So,
and a couple more questions, and then we gonna blow this spot.
Okay, I gotta. Well, it's not really a question. Yeah, it's kind of a question. You did this movie called Corrupt.
Yeah, in Bratislava.
Yeah, in Bratislava. It was supposed to take place in New York, but it's obviously not New York. Yeah. But what's so amazing about it is the DVD, you did a commentary track. And that shit is like 2 hours of comedy gold.
That's like what I said. That was an Albert Pune movie.
Yes.
Albert Pune. And that motherfucker could make movies for like $40.
Right.
So I got Snoop in a movie over there too.
Yeah.
And you know, it was in search of the bag back in them days. You know, I was like, all right, Snoop, look, we're gonna get this money. I don't even know how much money they paid. It's like 50, 100 grand, whatever the money was, that was the whole budget. And then I told Snoop, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, nobody's gonna see it. So fuck it. You know, take the money, go buy a car with it. So Snoop liked it. He was like, yo, nigga, that check cleared, nigga. That's what's up, man. But Albert Pune was a master at making movies. I also did a movie with him called Mean Guns.
Yeah.
Which we shot in the LA County Jail 2 days before it opened. And I shot every scene in that movie in one day.
Wow.
Christopher Lambert was in the movie. I've never met the man. I'm talking to him. They block shot that shit. So they would shoot scenes without me in it. Then I came in, he said, talk to these people here, they're here. I would act like I'm talking here, sit in this desk, talk over this way, go this way, and he put it together. Albert Pune, he passed away.
Yeah.
But those movies, you know, I tell people I've done over 100 films. I only claim about 8. What?
Well, okay, then I'll piggyback off of C-Doc's movie question there. You did a movie with, who was it? With Alyssa Milano, right?
Yeah, it was called
Below Utopia.
It was originally called Below Utopia.
Is that what this is?
That's some bullshit right there. That was me just snatching some money. We went downstairs and had a synthesizer and just played a bunch of chords.
Yeah.
I actually used that to get out of a record deal. I owed them a couple albums and turned that shit in as an album. So we got to do tricky shit nowadays to get out of contracts and shit. But throw that in the garbage. That's garbage. But the movie was decent. It ended up being called Body Count.
Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's on me, Tiny Lister, rest in peace.
Yeah.
We robbed this house and start killing everybody in the house. Another cheap, low budget jump off. You know, at some point, see, I really didn't take acting seriously till later. You know, for me, it was just a money grab. I was like, fuck it, because I'm not a trained actor. So I was like, okay, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. Then I started to really want to get better at it. So by being on Law and Order all these years, I got a chance to work with some really great actors, and I understand the nuances. So I'm a much better actor than I am. Anything you do every day for 25 years, you're going to hopefully get better. Yeah. So I'm ready. You know, I say when Law and Order's over, I'm just going to go read for all Samuel Jackson's parts. I can say motherfucker just as good as him.
Right.
You know? And I'll be old, and you know that you need that old motherfucker talks a lot of shit in the movies and stuff. So, you know, George just came for another show for me recently, but I told him I'm tired of playing the police. So,
but tell George I said hello, because that's another one of the
OG.
It's just the unbelievable relationship. How you two have been in tandem for 45 years.
Yeah, George managed King T for a minute. He worked with Dub C for a minute. You know, a lot of people he helps. George been in the game for a long time, man. He and he's been honest with me. He never stole a dime. So that's really, like I said, have you ever crossed me? No. So yeah, but yeah, I made a lot of bullshit ass movies. You know, it's what it is. You know, I want to later. I'm ready. You know, as an actor, you got to get your shit to where you're ready. Like it's like going in the booth with a top name rapper. Everybody don't want to go in the booth with Ghostface Killer. You don't want to go in the booth with Nas. He might outbar you and make you sound so fucking stupid. You know, you ain't ready for that. You know, why you think everybody not doing duets with Busta Rhymes? Like Bust is gonna destroy you. You ain't. So just like that, as an actor, when you have to stand up in front of De Niro, or you got to go toe to toe with Pacino or Denzel, you got to have confidence in your acting to be able to play against them. So at this point in my career, I can act with anybody. But early in the career, even though I did work with Rutger Hauer early, I worked with Denzel early, but you know, I don't know if I was as confident as I am now as far as acting goes.
How was working with Abel Ferrara?
Abel Ferrara's out of his fucking mind. Abel Ferrara, it reminds me of that song by Jethro Tull called Aqualung.
Yeah.
Sitting on a park bench, eyeing little girls with bad intent. Snot is running down his nose. Greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes. Hey, Aqualung, spitting out pieces of his broken lung. All right, so Abel Ferrara, if you met him on the street, you'd be like, yo, this motherfucker look crazy. So I got a call from Abel Ferrara. Ice, we got this movie called Our Christmas. Want you to be in it? Fuck you, no. Okay, Ice, we got some money for you. Blah, blah, blah. We'll pay you this. We'll pay you that. So I show up. First day, Abel's telling me the thing. You the cops, but the cops, nobody knows you the cops to the end. It's a movie about some cops that were taking down drug dealers and keeping the money and the drugs, like cold shit. It was the real story. It was happening in New York. So I'm in the movie with him, Drea Mateo from
Sopranos.
Abel's like, this is how he pitches the scene. Okay, this is what it is. You do this, you do that, this, that, the other. You know it better than me. You know how to do this shit, Ice. Come on. The guy who wrote this doesn't know shit about this. I wrote it, but fuck it. Like he's out of his mind. So one night we're shooting in Washington Heights. Abel is smoking crack in a bodega, some motherfucking way. Is shooting and the nigga's wild, like. So look, the movie's over, right? So I mean, there's all kinds of shit that Abel. One time I asked Abel, they had the coke and it was hidden in this rice. I'm like, Abel, is this a true story? He goes, yeah, it's a true story, Ice. Then he goes, well, if it's a lie, it all came from the same liar.
What?
So Schoolie D, right? Schoolie D did all the music for it.
Right.
Schoolie says, Abel Ferrara taught me a lot about the music industry, how to get movies funded, and all kind of shit. Then again, he did introduce me to heroin. So, like, Schoolie said, the best thing, Chuck, you like this, the best thing about Abel Ferrara is he'll never lie to you. Wait a minute. The best thing about Abel Ferrara is he'll never lie to you unless he's lying to you. So my last Abel Ferrara story is it was time to see the movie. So it's like, we're going to a screening. I want to see it. I haven't seen no cuts. He's like, come over to my house. I figure I'm coming to his house in Lower East Side to go see the movie. Nah, this nigga got a TV in the kitchen. All right, first he got his boy laying on the couch with a tube sock hanging off his toe, laid out on the couch. I go in, he got some Asian chick, they in the back doing blow. There's a TV with a VCR pops in the bottom. He goes, that's the movie. I'm like, this is the screening? He said, yeah, that's how most people gonna see the movie anyway, right? Listen, I wanted to see the movie so bad, I sat in the kitchen and watched it. In his kitchen. He never came out of the bedroom. His homeboy never woke up, and I left the room. That's my story. This is the same guy that directed Bad Lieutenant.
Yep.
Directed King of New York.
King of New York.
He's a genius, but he's an artist. He's out there. He's way out there. And I'm sure those stories mirror a lot of the other stories you've heard about Abel.
Right.
I would love to do another Abel Ferrara movie. He's something else. Like Rite of Passage for New York actors.
Yeah.
Shit, that story was something else.
Right.
Damn.
That's a movie in itself.
It is.
Nah, but I hope Abel ain't mad. He don't give a fuck. He's wilder than me. He's wilder than me. But they think these types of people attract each other. I think that's why he wanted me in the movie, because he it's energies. Different people have different energies. So it was cool. I worked with him. I worked with Michael Madsen, rest in peace. Mickey Rourke. I remember I did a movie with Mickey Rourke, right? This whack movie called Luck of the Draw. Dennis Hopper was in it.
Wow.
Terrible movie.
I remember.
Terrible movie. So Mickey Rourke shows up with a dog. So they looking at the dog. So we doing this read through, and then Mickey Rourke, they tell Mickey he can't have the dog in the movie. So he's pissed. So he's in his trailer. I get called to his trailer. He goes, Ice, they about to throw me off this movie, so we got to walk, man. We got to let him. He start talking I'm like, motherfucker, you talking French. I can't walk off this movie. I already spent the money. I haven't even got the money. I've already spent the money. Like, I need this money right now. You telling me we gotta leave the movie. Next day, he was gone. Michael Madsen took the part.
Wow.
No. I hope you're not mad, but I needed the money right then. I couldn't. Solidarity was not available to me at that moment.
Wow.
You know, Hollywood, everything is funny in retrospect. During the moment, it might have been terrifying, you know, but when you look back and you live to tell, all these stories is fun, you know? But at the moment, it might have been scary or it might have been odd, you know, but now you get to look back and go, wow.
Oh, well, stories are fun to tell from one of the probably the premier storyteller of our time. A lot of times people always say Slick Rick. I always say you because you've told. I mean, Slick, yeah, Ricky's my guy too. But Ice-T, you are the premier storyteller. I mean, you rap, spit, act, talk, novels. That's that you really gotta lean forward and zone into. And there's no better storyteller than you.
That's why we did that album, the triple album. It's all stories. It's one song after another, all kinds of different stories. We just brought them from all the different records and stuff to put them in one place for people who like story rhymes. So,
but plus some unreleased joints too, right?
Yeah, you know, in the song "Power," I define my style. I say I'm living large as possible. Posse's unstoppable. Style, topical, vividly optical. Listen, you'll see them. Sometimes I'll be them. That's it. You know? Style, topical, vividly optical. Listen, you'll see them. Sometimes I'll be them. Because like Cop Killer, I became the character. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't give people credit for that. Like Nas rapped as a gun. Like you can, we can do that. We have the ability. It's art, you know. So I remember one time I was telling a journalist this, and I said, you know, I've never done drugs, but I could sit with a heroin addict, and after talking to him long enough, write a rap as a heroin addict. When the article came out, she says, when Ice-T writes about heroin, he talks about his battle with addiction.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. How the fuck did you get that out of
Because they didn't do what you do so well. You listen.
Yeah.
You listen. Then you listen and you could flip it. That's
it was
what they
funny,
should
that
do as
same
well.
lady, I remember Darlene was there, and she was like, you say bitch so much. And she looked over and she told Darlene, does he say bitch, call you a bitch? She says, no, but he likes me. Said it in a way like, bitch, you will get thrown off the fucking banister right now fucking with him. You know, like, take it easy. He likes me. We don't know you. Yeah. You know? So whatever, you know.
Yeah. Well, all right. Ice, thank you for coming through. We really appreciate it, man.
We're at 2.5 hours.
Yep.
But then,
Thank Donald T made this happen.
Yes, thank you, Donald.
Thank you, guys.
Donald made it happen. Shit, what's going on, Donald?
About to head out Europe, man.
Oh, you going back home with your wifey and the babies and all that good shit, right?
Yeah, man. Lil Ice is still in the UK?
No, that relationship imploded.
That's crazy.
That's a celebration when it sticks. That's why it's a big celebration when it sticks. You know, everybody's so happy because I've been with Coco now 25 years, you know, so it's amazing when it does stick. It's so difficult, man.
Yeah.
That's probably the most difficult thing in the world. Relationships. What you think, Chuck?
I plead the fifth.
Hey, you know, I always say I don't want to jinx myself. I'm very lucky. So let's keep it like that. All right, everybody, y'all stay true to yourselves. And I'll do the same. Peace.
Thank you, Ice.
Thank you.
Peace.
There it is.
Woo.
That's one for the ages, the bird.
The
Right there.
Iceberg.
Right, Donald?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Great stories, man.
And we have to thank Donald for getting tired of hearing my mouth.
Yeah, she was like, man, they giving me the runaround. I'll check with the bird. Now Chuck got me saying it, the bird.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. I've always called him Bird. Just simple and keep it, cut it short. Keep it like the iceberg. Like you run into him the wrong way, you're going down like the Titanic.
Yep. See, Doc, I don't know why my mic is tripping, man.
You sound pretty good. You sound good over here.
Like I hear crazy
Feedback.
low-end feedback. Yeah.
Nah, you sound good. Unless
Really?
the other sound is yours too, Donald.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, yeah,
What's
Donald
that?
sounds fine, but I think it's when any of us talk. Yeah, it's like a feedback.
Okay,
But whatever. It's all good.
that's what's up.
Yep. So
Well,
there
that's
it is.
one for the ages. I don't know who 201 going to be, but it's hard to follow that one up.
Who is 201 going to be, Jennifer?
201 just happens to be Just Ice.
Just Ice.
Once again.
Yes,
Just
the
I
hip
just
hop
got
gangster.
something that I just played on last week's show with him and Wild Man Steve, him and Mantronics, right?
Yep.
Right.
They've been working on music.
Just Ice, Mantronics, and who else is on that cut?
Greg Nice.
Great nice.
Oh, Greg Nice, of course.
Yeah.
Nice one, yeah. Greg Nice one is good.
Yep. So,
Yeah, man.
So yeah, that was Justice's request. He hit me up. He's like, "Hey, when am I coming back on the show?"
Well, I would say he's
Good day.
a formidable 201.
Yes.
For sure.
Yep. Yes.
Just Ice.
Yep.
Wind it up.
Wild Man Steve last week on the show, and Wild Man Steve's a big dude too. You know, he's like, man, Just Ice is a big dude. He's like a big dude saying a dude is big is a big dude.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
Right. Exactly. So.
That's crazy.
Yep. So there it is, episode 200.
In the books.
In the books. Stay tuned this weekend for, of course, Soul Buck will be back playing more Just Ice music. So
yeah, Soul Buck did a great mix a couple of days ago, prelude mix on all the Iceberg catalog.
Yeah. Yep. I'll send it, or if you want to send it, Chuck, if you want to forward it to Ice.
Including the stuff that we were never allowed to play on K-Day.
Including that stuff.
Right.
Yes, indeed. So we got that, and of course the Angie Don't Stop show this weekend. Lots of good stuff, and we'll be back next week for episode 201 with Just Ice. Back again. Thank you everybody watching live, everybody watching the replay. Please like and subscribe. We had a whole lot of people watching tonight. So
yes, sir.
That was a good one. Yep. What do you say, Donald?
I said, great show tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for helping to make it happen, bro.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anytime, man.
Yep.
You know, I'm all in. I'm part of the family. We are family.
Yep. And we will see everybody next week for another episode of It's C-Doc again.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Oh.